Have you ever been totally devoted to something? Have you ever been so laser focused on a goal or accomplishment that you worked yourself to the bone, that it kept you up at night and consumed your thoughts? Have you ever been totally devoted to something? Maybe for you it's sports, golf, basketball, lacrosse, football, track. Maybe it's a boyfriend or girlfriend. You're so devoted to them that you've forgotten your old friends. You stopped hanging out with other people. You spend every waking moment Snapchatting them, and they've consumed your every thought. Maybe for you, it's your grades. You're consumed with perfection, working at a stressed out and frenetic pace to make sure you get all A's, to work for that scholarship or degree program. Have you ever been totally devoted to something? How about this? Have you ever been totally devoted to the wrong thing? Let me give you an example. When I was in high school, I was devoted to baseball. I loved baseball. I'd played all my life, and high school was when I realized I might actually be pretty good. Now, I was good, but I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best player in the country. I wasn't the best player in the state. I wasn't even the best player at my high school. My best friend growing up was another guy named Jake. His name was Jake too, so people called us Jake Squared. And from Little League all the way to varsity, we played baseball together. But there was only one problem. Jake was a lot better than me. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. Freshman year, he made varsity and I didn't. Not only that, but he was an All-American that year. Now, I enjoyed some success as a freshman, but Jake, he was on a whole nother level. He was one of those infuriating people that could dunk a basketball, throw a football 50 yards, run a 4.6 40, all while being an All-American baseball player as a freshman. All of that to say, by the time our first year ended, I decided to devote myself to baseball. I wanted to be as good as Jake. To be honest, I wanted to be better. Starting that summer, we would work out together every morning. We'd lift weights, run sprints. When school started in the fall, we'd meet at the batting cages every day around 6 a.m. and hit. We'd hit off the tee, we'd hit soft toss, we'd throw each other batting practice. We hit and hit and hit every single day for years. There was only one problem. I was devoted to the wrong thing. You see, I spent my high school baseball career trying to be as good as Jake. I spent all those mornings in the batting cages trying to play baseball the way Jake played it. Now, Jake and I were similar in a lot of ways, but ultimately he played center field, was a freak athlete, and I was neither of those things. I was best at pitching, and instead of spending all those early mornings working on what I was best at, I spent those hours trying to become as good as Jake. Instead of working on my strengths, instead of focusing on what I was good at, I tried to be somebody else. I was devoted to the wrong thing. So I ask you again, have you ever been devoted to something? Have you ever been devoted to the wrong thing? High school is an easy time for our priorities to get all out of whack. There's so many things trying to get your attention, trying to take your time. There's youth group, extracurricular activities like theater, honor society, student leadership. There's sports. There's a practice or game literally every single week of the year. There's boys and girls. Not only that, there's cute boys and girls who you want to spend all your time with. There's your family, parents and siblings, grandparents and cousins, not to mention your grades. Because remember, if you don't get good grades, then you won't get a scholarship. And if you don't get a scholarship, then you won't go to college. And if you don't go to college, then you'll die. All of these things ask for our time. They ask for our attention. They ask for our devotion. Now, those are all really good things. You should play sports. You should hang out with your friends. You should work hard at school. You should participate in youth group. But if you were honest, I'd be willing to bet it's all a little overwhelming, isn't it? If you were honest with me and with yourself, you're so devoted to one or two or three of the things on that list that it feels like you're drowning. It feels like you're constantly exhausted, stressed out, and it feels like you're getting nowhere. Maybe I'm preaching to myself, but if you feel that way, maybe you're devoted to the wrong thing. Now remember, school, sports, work, hobbies, those are good things, and they should have some of your attention, but I don't think they deserve our devotion. I Googled devotion, and Merriam-Webster defines it this way: the fact or state of being ardently dedicated and loyal. I'm not sure school, sports, work, hobbies, I'm not sure they deserve your ardent dedication and loyalty. And I'm positive high school boyfriends and girlfriends don't deserve our dedication and loyalty. Now, you all know I'm getting ready to tell you that Jesus is the only one that deserves our full attention. He's the only one who deserves our ardent dedication and loyalty. We all know that's where this is going, but before you dismiss this as another, oh, Jesus is the right answer talk, pause and ask yourself, is the way you're currently living, is it working? Is your devotion to your sport giving you love, peace, joy in all circumstances? Is your devotion to your grades giving you self-confidence, energy, and hope for the future? Is your devotion to a boyfriend or girlfriend filling your heart with unconditional love and grace? Is the way you're currently living working? Are the things you're devoted to giving you a good life? Or are you just stressed and depressed like everyone else? Colossians chapter 4 tells us this: devote yourselves to prayer. Be watchful and thankful. Be wise in the way you act towards outsiders. Make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversations be full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Devote yourselves to prayer. Maybe your life sucks because you're spending your life focused on the wrong things. Maybe you're stressed, depressed, and overwhelmed because you're choosing to be devoted to things that don't matter. Instead, devote yourself to prayer. If your life isn't working, if the way you're doing things isn't getting the results you're wanting, then you've got to change something. Imagine with me. Imagine if you spent half as much time praying, talking to Jesus, as you do at sports practice. Imagine half as much time talking with God as you do scrolling on social media. Imagine if you spent even 1% of the time you spend at school in prayer. Imagine what your life could be like if you quit giving things that are important all your attention. Imagine what your life could look like if you started giving the only thing that matters all of your devotion. For some of you, none of this is making any sense. For some of you, it's boring, irrelevant, or just a nice idea. And that's okay. If you're content with feeling stressed out, depressed, and meaningless, if you love the results your life is currently getting, then keep on keeping on and know that the opportunity to turn around and chase after Jesus is always available. But if you're hearing this and it's resonating with you, if you're realizing that you've been chasing the wrong things, that you're devoted to the wrong things, I want you to know it doesn't have to stay that way. I want to challenge each and every one of you to dig deep, to open up, to think honestly and seriously about what you're devoted to and how it needs to change. And ask yourself this question: what would it look like to devote yourself to time with Jesus no matter the cost?